Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a massive green energy shift happening right now in India. This isn't just some abstract policy. This is something that's going to directly impact your wallet, the next vehicle you buy, and honestly, the entire national economy. We are looking at the newly launched E85 fuel. And as you're going to see, it's this fascinating development that sits right at the intersection of automotive tech, global economics, and agriculture.
Imagine pulling up to the pump tomorrow and seeing the fuel price slashed by exactly 20 rupees a liter. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the best part. What if that fuel wasn't drilled out of an oil well halfway across the world, but was instead brewed right here in India from local sugarcane and corn? It almost sounds too good to be true, but that is exactly the promise of E85 fuel. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the cheaper fuel promise, move into the flex fuel tech, discuss breaking the oil import trap, look at clean air and farmer incomes, break down the hidden consumer math, and finally answer the big question, is flex fuel actually worth it?
Let's kick things off with the cheaper fuel promise and the launch of E85 in Delhi. Just recently, Union Ministers Hardeep Singh Puri and Nitin Gadkari inaugurated the country's very first dedicated E85 fuel pump. And check out the launch price. 82 rupees and 12 paise per liter. That is about 20 rupees cheaper than what you're probably paying for standard petrol right now. If you're tired of those sky-high fuel bills, that number is a massive flashing sign that a huge transportation shift is underway. Moving right along to the tech side of things, upgrading our engines for ethanol. Now, you can't just go pouring this cheap new liquid into your current car. For a few years now, India has been quietly running an ethanol blending program. Your current vehicle likely runs on E20, which is just 20% ethanol, and your engine handles that perfectly. But E85, that flips the script entirely. It replaces almost all the fossil fuel, using up to 85% high-purity plant-based alcohol and only 15% traditional petrol.
You're basically handing your car an 85 proof drink, strictly for the tank, not the driver, obviously. But pure alcohol is harsh. If you put E85 in a standard petrol engine, it's going to corrode the rubber fuel lines, rust the steel parts, and cause some pretty severe engine misfires. That's exactly why automakers like Maruti Suzuki and Hero MotoCorp are rolling out flex fuel vehicles, or FFVs. Think of them as dietary chameleons. They've got heavy-duty pumps, corrosion-resistant injectors, and smart computers that automatically recalibrate on the fly to run smoothly on anything from pure petrol all the way up to maximum strength E85. And the government isn't just testing the waters here. They're pushing this infrastructure aggressively. They're starting immediately in key urban spots like Delhi NCR, Mumbai, Pune, and Nagpur. From there, the plan is to scale up to 500 stations by the end of this year. The ultimate goal? Hitting a massive 5,000 operational E85 stations across the nation by December 2027. It's an incredibly rapid rollout. Which brings us to our next point, breaking the oil import trap and securing India's energy future. You might be wondering, why is the government pushing this so incredibly hard and so fast? Well, look at India's current situation. We import over 80% of our crude oil. That is a massive reliance on the rest of the world. And since a lot of that oil travels through really volatile global shipping routes, anytime a geopolitical crisis flares up, international prices surge, and you end up paying for it at your local pump. And the cost of that reliance is just staggering. Importing all that oil drains roughly $120 billion in foreign exchange out of India every single year. But by shifting to locally grown ethanol, India is building a protective shield against global oil shocks. Ethanol blending keeps that immense wealth right here inside the country, moving us toward true energy independence. Let's dive into the macro wins of this agricultural shift: clean air and farmer incomes. By keeping that vast wealth away from foreign countries, India is fundamentally transforming its domestic economy. The government estimates that if just half of all new vehicles transition to flex fuel, it'll generate over 12,000 crore rupees in additional income for local Indian farmers. It literally shifts the entire agricultural sector, the sugarcane and corn growers, from being just food providers into domestic clean energy producers. It's a massive, direct investment into rural livelihoods. And beyond the economic boost for farmers, the environmental impact is profound. Ethanol simply burns so much cleaner than fossil fuels. Widespread adoption of E85 is projected to massively slash carbon emissions by over 66 lakh metric tons. If you live in one of India's major metros, this translates to a drastic, real-world improvement in urban air quality.
It makes our cities so much cleaner and safer to breathe in. All right, time to talk about the hidden consumer math. Because yes, there is a catch to that 20 rupee discount. It really comes down to basic physics. Ethanol has roughly 30% less explosive energy than petrol. Because of that, your engine literally has to burn more fuel to cover the exact same distance. Say your car gets 15 kilometers per liter on regular petrol, well, it might drop to around 11 kilometers per liter on E85. So because you're burning more liters just to drive the same distance, that sweet 20 rupee discount at the pump, it almost completely vanishes when you calculate your real-world running costs. Plus, on top of that mileage drop, buyers are going to face an upfront premium for these new vehicles. Because flex fuel engines need those specialized corrosion-resistant parts we talked about, they naturally cost more to build. For example, the new flex fuel Hero Splendor Plus bike is expected to cost roughly 6,000 rupees more than the standard petrol version. And you can absolutely expect a similar upfront price premium when buying flex fuel cars. So that brings us to our final section, weighing the pros and cons to figure out, is flex fuel actually worth it? If the day one savings at the pump disappear because of lower fuel efficiency and the vehicle itself costs more upfront, why should you even consider making the switch? Well, the verdict on E85 is that it offers a really practical middle ground before we all eventually move to full electric vehicles. While you might not save a fortune on day one, as the government scales production, E85 acts as an excellent hedge against future international petrol price spikes. Furthermore, your fuel money stops going to foreign nations and starts supporting local Indian farmers directly, all while making a massive dent in the urban pollution we all breathe. It really changes how you look at filling up your tank, doesn't it? Now that this massive 5,000 station rollout has begun, we've got a choice to make. Is that small upfront investment in a flex fuel vehicle worth it to you for cleaner air and a stronger agricultural economy? Or are you going to stick with traditional petrol? It is a fascinating shift to watch unfold. Hopefully, this explainer has given you the structured clarity you need to navigate India's new energy landscape. Keep learning, and I'll see you in the next one.